Anime studio Kyoto Animation is known for their well-received high school, lighthearted slice-of-life anime shows from the anime otaku community. KyoAni has produced popular shows such as the Haruhi Suzumiya franchise, Clannad K-On!, and one of their recent summer shows, Free. However, KyoAni's 2013 fall show, Beyond the Boundary or Kyoukai no Kanata, decided to shift into a newer direction from their formulaic shows. Presenting to you a review of Beyond the Boundary, KyoAni's attempt at producing a new show. It's full of adventures, full of the supernatural, full of action. It's dark, it's mysterious, and best of all, it's still set in high school. Beyond the Boundary is a 12-episode anime adaptation of the Japanese light novel. The story sets off in a world where some kind of demon monsters that are physical materialization of human negative emotions, referred to as Yomus, roam the earth, and people referred to as spirit world warriors are sent to kill these Yomus as a way to keep the world in balance, and also happens to be their source of income. In other words, it's basically death gods from Bleach killing hollows to make money. Although Beyond the Boundary seems to be a heavily plot-driven show, the two lovers Akihito and Mirai, no surprise there, allow for the progression of the plot. And this is where the show falls very short on. Bad characters that drag the story. The story follows a group of 4 high school students, Akihito, Mirai, Mitsuki, and Hiromi. One day Mirai is about to suicide, only then to be saved by Akihito because of his confession for his love of glasses. Kyoukai. The characters take much derivation from KyoAni's older works, which resulted in a mass of uninteresting cast of characters. There's the main male character, Akihito, who happens to be half human and half Yamu, and also has a glasses fetish. Kyoukai. Then there's Mirai, a band from a cursed family of the spirit world that can create weapons made from their own blood. She may have the blood of her family in her, but KyoAni decided to also resort to their classical formula, create a small moe clumsy girl who is useless without her boyfriend. Then there's the main supporting characters, Mitsuki, a cold girl who has a thing for lollipops. She's the youngest in her family, and she also happens to be useless without her boyfriend. And then there's Mitsuki's older brother, Hiromi, who would do anything for the world if Mitsuki calls him that is, if he isn't too busy armpit harassing Akihito. You'll also be getting side characters from the spirit world and whatnot. Unfortunately, the character dynamics are lacking, and the chemistry between the interactions of the characters are rather modest. The characters lack depth, and it's one of the most lackluster and trite cast of characters to have ever appeared in KyoAni's work. Comedy is prevalent throughout the show, but with such a boring cast, comedy feels dull. Furthermore, comedy is badly used, feeling out of place. The conversations are incoherent and just feel pointless. Most of the time, they consist of an all-out heated war between Akihito and Hiromi on their respective fetishes for glasses and little sisters, only then to have Mitsuki say hentai and Mirai say Kyoukai, which only further cements the senseless direction of the conversations. Whether you find this comedy funny or not is clearly subjective, but it certainly is not my cup of tea. Furthermore, the story feels out of place itself. When you're trying to tell a dark and thrilling story, but you're getting a cast of boring high school students that mix like water and oil, trying to pull out a plethora of ridiculous jokes, how are you supposed to watch the show? Am I supposed to get immersed into the world of the spirit warriors, or am I supposed to laugh? Or heck, am I supposed to be watching a high school romance show? Beyond the Boundary tries to mix a variety of genres that appeal to the anime fandom, but the subpar execution of the medley of genres make many parts of the show feel muddled and disconnected. That's not to say everything with the story was wrong. The world that Beyond the Boundary built gave me the awesome vibes of Bleach during its early days. There were a few good parts in each of the arcs, but the stories of each arc usually end rather abruptly, with a shoddy resolution that makes you go, if there's anything that shines in Beyond the Boundary, it's undoubtedly KyoAni's astounding production values. This especially shines during the fights with Yamus, where the action scenes show off their fluid and remarkable animation. It makes you wonder why KyoAni has been producing simple, lighthearted slice-of-life high school shows all these years. The soundtrack also does a magnificent job in depicting the eeriness and the mysteriousness of the mood, further enhancing the feeling of every scene that it is played in. And unfortunately, the same cannot be said about the character and story. Overall, Beyond the Boundary is filled with high production values that was tipped over by its agonizingly bland characters and story. It was KyoAni's attempts at diverging from their typical commercial model, which really, I'm praising them for making such an undertaking risk. With a promising potential, it was lost to a mediocre execution and also in fact, the length of the series. Kyoukai no Kanata certainly was not free enough to go beyond the boundary. I give Beyond the Boundary a 6.5 out of 10.